since some people like to be obnoxious sometimes. All right.
Wait. You can't hear it.
Yeah, I told you. All right, headphones out. So, for our lesson today, we are still working with inequalities. That's basically this whole chapter. And we're gonna be graphing inequalities today. But we gotta do a few things to these inequalities first of all. So Cameron, follow along, take some notes. Just do like what I write on the board. You write too. I'm out of pencils today, so you have to find out.
If you don't have one.
Actually, you can get a pen or something.
I got one.
Next one. All right. So we're going to be solving inequalities still, or we're going to be graphing inequalities still, but we're going to have to solve these first. So I'm going to graph x plus 3 is greater than 2. I'm just going to write that. Oh, that's too big. I'm going to write it a little bit bigger, but that's too big. So I'm going to graph x plus 3 is greater than 2. So before I can graph this though, I need to get that x by itself. And when I get this x by itself, it's going to be basically just like last chapter when we solved our equations. Do you guys remember last chapter? If I had like an x plus 3 equal to, I had an equal sign there, what would we do to get the x by itself?
You subtract.
We would subtract 3, right? We would minus 3 on both sides. Well, with inequalities, it's the same thing, basically. There is going to be one or two sneaky things, but we're not going to get into those today. We're just going to start off with a nice, easy one today. So, I need to get this x by itself before I can graph it. And to get the x by itself, just like before, I'm going to do the opposite. The opposite of this plus 3 is minus 3. And if I'm minus 3 on the left, I have to minus 3 on the right. I got a minus 3 everywhere. And what happens, let's just start on trading. What happens with this plus 3 and the minus 3?
Cross out.
They're crossed out, right? They're gone. Which is what I want because I just have the x left over there now. And then, instead of having my equal sign now, I'm going to keep my greater than sign. I'm going to keep my greater than sign right there. And then on the right side, I have 2 minus 3, which I can plug into Desmos or do it in my head. That is negative 1. Don't forget your negative, because it is 2 minus 3, not 3 minus 2. 2 minus 3. I got the x by itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I just graph it like we did all yesterday and the day before. So I'm going to go down here to my number line. I'm going to start out at negative 1, and then Richie, help me out. What is bigger than negative 1? 0. Remember, negatives are kind of backwards. And then what's smaller than negative 1, Richie? Let me answer.
Negative 2.
What?
Negative 2.
Negative 2, yep. So I have negative 1 right in the middle, 0, negative 2. And then from there, I'm going to put my circle at negative 1. And Allison, am I going to fill in the circle?
No.
Because?
Because it doesn't have the line under it.
Yep. I don't have the or equal to line, so I don't fill in the circle. I just draw a circle, leave it open.
Oh, God.
Get it?
Allison.
It scared me. I didn't know it was coming until it hit me. Pick it up.
Should be nice and late.
I didn't mean to do that.
It's fine, it happens.
I did it on purpose.
Alright, and we gotta finish this off. We gotta make our arrow. Susie, which way is my arrow gonna go?
Right.
It's gonna go to the right. So, as a little reminder, when you do these, you need to make sure your variable is on the left side. Remember, you should have notes for this from like Monday, so you can use your notes if you need to. But remember, this is a greater than. It kind of looks like an arrow pointing right. If I drew kind of this little piece,
Oh, no.
which means my arrow needs to point right.
I messed up.
And this is basically all we're doing today. We're just going to practice it a little bit before you guys start doing them on your own. I'll give you a minute to make sure you got this all copied down though. Remember, if I ever go too fast, yell at me or something. I'll wait out. You okay there, Allison? Hey, you eating no pixie stick in my class? What is that? tell you what, you can have it, but you gotta snort it.
Oh.
Ooh, do it. Do it.
No.
Give me strong.
I can do that.
Bye,
Give it to
Matt.
me.
I'll just mess it up.
Bye, Matt.
Dude, I remember.
Yeah, because
Just put it away.
I remember what
Just
you
put it
did
away,
there.
Richie. Put it away. Alright,
Just put it away.
You carried it back.
so we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna graph z minus 2 is less than 4. So, just like before, I need to get the z by itself before I can do anything. So Keith, how am I gonna get this z by itself?
You do -2
Plus 2.
How do I get rid of the minus
Plus
2?
2.
plus
2, yeah. We gotta do the opposite, which is plus 2. So we're gonna get rid of the minus 2 by doing plus 2 on both sides.
Oh, dang. We do.
Alright, so let's keep going through. When I plus 2 on both sides, these cancel out, which is what I want. I got my z left over. I have my less than. That hasn't changed. And I got 4 plus 2 is 6. Alright, so I'm going to have to make my number line here.
Oh wait, why did I put that?
I'm going to put 6 right in the middle. My bigger is 7. The smaller is 5. So I got 5, 6, 7.
Hey, can you go back to the other one? Because I didn't get the last parts down.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
You guys wanna fight me?
I'll
do it. What?
I said it.
I wasn't paying attention. Just go back. Go back.
Just let me finish this, then we'll go back for a
I'm done.
second. Alright. So, I have to
Okay.
put my circle at 6. Choice
Oh,
lead,
shit.
am I going to fill my circle in?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Because
There's no underline there.
there's no underline part. Remember, we only fill our circle in when we have the underline part, like that, or like this. There's no underline, there's no or equal to line, so we don't fill it in. Alright, Robert, which way is my arrow going to go?
Left.
Left.
Yep.
This kind of looks like an arrow pointing left, so I'm going to make my arrow pointing left.
Mr. Golks, is there ever gonna be a problem where like it's the opposite way the arrow's pointing?
Kind of.
Cause like I've just been like wherever the arrow points, that's where it's going.
That's what I did.
It kind of will be.
Do the math thing.
So, well, don't forget, when we do these, if I have like a 6 is greater than x, we always want to move the variable to the left side, which I think we're going to get to here in a minute. We always want to flip these around. But when I flip around, the arrow flips around. So, the arrow will always follow this. We just need to make sure my variable is on the left. So, it always follows the arrow, but we might have to do something, I guess I should say. Good question, Keith.
That was a very smart question.
Alright, she thinks it's less now.
Richie, you got this?
Huh?
Alright.
Yeah.
So, and actually that's what we're going to do right now. So on this one, I have 3 is less than or equal to y plus 4. So if I'm going to go through and solve this, Dylan, what am I going to do to get that y by itself? We're going to minus 4 on both sides. Yep. We're going to minus 4 on both sides, which is the opposite of that plus 4. Alright, so that goes away, which is what I wanted. I've got this y there. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. Another negative 1. There are like 4 negative 1s in this lesson. Should change it. Alright, and then I still have less than or equal to y. Okay, on this problem, Zoe, is my y on the left side? No, so before I graph this, I want to move my y to the left. So basically, I'm going to have to flip everything. I'm going to put my y here. My negative 1 is going to go on the right. And then, I have to be careful. Sophia, what was my inequality right here? What was it pointing to? Or what's it pointing to right now?
So, one.
Yeah, it's opened up to the y, right?
The one.
Okay, yeah, there's 2 different ways of saying it. It's opened up to the y or it's pointing to the negative 1. When I flip this, it's got to stay pointing to the negative 1. So I have to flip my inequality. That's a lame question, Sophia. I gotta ask you that. You can tell which way it's pointing. You gotta make it challenging.
Oh wait.
Yeah, I know, my inequalities are terrible. Alright, so when I flip and put my variable on the left, I need to remember to flip my sign in the middle. Because if I don't flip it, my arrow is going to go the wrong way.
Oh wait, never mind.
So I'm going to have -1, 0, -2. I'm going to make my circle. And Sophia, a real question this time. Am I going to fill this circle in?
Fill it in.
Yep, because?
There's an underline here.
Perfect. We got that underline, which is the or equal to. It means we start at exactly -1. We don't start really, really close to -1. We start exactly there. And then, Jared, which way is my arrow going to go?
It's going to the left.
No, it was right. I thought he threw it.
Remember, this one right here.
I didn't do anything.
So, remember, when we do our arrow, use this one here when my variable is on the left side. Always use this one for your arrow.
Look at it.
Because if you use this one, your arrow's going to go the wrong way. You gotta watch out.
Mr. Goki, your arrow.
Just for the
Here, here.
arrow.
Because we flipped our
I don't want to
equality.
hear it.
We always want the y or the x or whatever variable on the left side. Because if it's not on the left side, your arrow's going the wrong way.
You have to have the variable. Honestly,
That's true, but you always need to make sure the y is on the left. or the x is on the
Stop.
left. So,
Did you hear
we had
that?
to flip the whole thing around. Alright, I think we're getting into some in-class problems now.
No, probably not.
Feels good?
Yeah. Alright, so what you're going to do, wherever you have space on your paper, like someplace on the back, these are all in-class problems. So I want you to do it on your own, and then check your answer with your partner, see if you get the same thing. So you are going to solve and then graph. You're going to solve and then graph this on your number line. So just find some place you got empty space and do it on there. We're going to do a couple of these on the board. I'm actually going to have some people probably just answer them on the board on their own.
Yeah, let me answer.
We'll
Let me
see,
answer mine
Richie.
on the board.
If you're lucky,
Not Richie.
the calculator chooses
Yeah, I'll get
you.
100% right. Let me do it.
It's not.
I'm going to wait till I get a hard one, then I'll call on you.
Me?
Yeah. I'm going to put on one you don't know how to do,
I know how to do all of it.
just so you can say that and look stupid at the recording.
I
I
set you up,
did look
Richie.
stupid on the
You do not. You look fine, Richie.
How do you look at it?
It could be worse.
I'm gonna give you.
I'll give you a minute or so. Put it on someplace you got empty space on your paper. Don't forget you gotta graph it on a number line. So we're gonna do 2 or 3 of these at least. So make sure you leave some space for 2 or 3 more problems.
Set it up like this.
I do.
It's not. And
Mr. Goki. Ew. Oh my god.
Don't forget to graph
You
it,
don't
Richie.
hear it.
You're number one.
Like I'm really close and I really can't hear it.
Are you still?
What's 6 minus 7?
Stop. If you do, I will.
oh my god.
You just
I'm
sound
not
like
sick.
six.
Yeah.
Look
Dang
around.
it.
Careful.
Assaulted by.
Come on. Got another 30 seconds. Don't forget, put it on a number line.
That's gross. How did
Okay, so.
I think I spread it.
Alright. Richie, it is you. Alright, Richie's gonna do this one on the board. And Richie, you can just put your graph. You don't need to solve it.
Awesome.
I'll let you just put your graph. We'll save a little bit of time. But to solve this, what you would have to do is -7 on both sides. And when you -7 on both sides, you get -1. So that's where our graph is going to start. But we got to do the one smaller, one bigger. So our graph is going to start at -1, and we put our circle
What the?
and our totally straight arrow.
That's beautiful.
That looks like a Pac-Man throwing up.
Yes. Perfect.
Alright, put our circle at -1. It is not filled in because we don't have the or equals to line. And our arrow is going to the right.
No, it's not like Pac-Man.
Alright, so we're going to do another one. So let me change it around here. And let's put this here.
So let me do another one.
Shut up,
We're gonna do this one. We're gonna change the sign. Let's do this one. And let me get some random numbers here. So not yet, not yet.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Wait
wreck.
for
I'm gonna wreck
it.
this.
Random.
0.
What does it say, Skulky?
What?
Oh my god.
What's wrong with this? What's wrong
Oh
with
wait,
you?
I'm a loser. Okay, wait.
You're not a loser.
You nerd.
I thought that was Goki saying that.
All right. So next in-class problem, do it on your own, like on the back of your paper somewhere. We're gonna have somebody do it on the board. This one's a little sneaky. You gotta watch out for one piece in here.
Let me do it again.
If you're lucky enough to get chosen by the calculator.
I know, I'm never chosen by the calculator.
You just got chosen by the calculator. Your desk 9, the calculator chose 9.
Placed out of the entire
Yeah.
group.
No, just a little.
God.
You did it like once
Now
more.
everybody knows you're a
Next
crybaby.
period.
What?
Do it right now. I
Said
do.
I will.
You
Why?
will.
Do your problem.
Yeah.
There you
I already
Richard
did it.
Beckerin. Wouldn't let Richie work. You can't have distractions.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry
let me work.
What else again?
for that. So we have. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Oh wait.
Yeah, it
We're
is.
good.
Like here.
Oh, I thought it was that bottom. I was like, starting at -1.
I didn't.
Okay.
Can I do it? I never got
Calculator.
And I got it right.
Don't choose me.
Calculator chooses you.
I never got chosen yet, Goki.
You know what I should be for Halloween next year? Winnie the Pooh.
You know what we're gonna be for Halloween next year?
Scooby-Doo.
My entire family's gonna
Finish
be the
that one off,
Smiths.
I should go to
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna do it.
No.
Yes. I'm gonna be like a big old Smith.
No, David.
Next year for Halloween, I'm just gonna.
No, David's
Okay.
David should be
Like,
gone.
bag.
What you gonna hit?
Oh,
Looks like
Grandpa
him, too.
Smith.
I like your smile. Good. I gave you another minute or so.
Can it please be me? I never got chosen since last semester.
Why?
This
Should
is
start
the
on Monday.
beginning of the semester. I never got chosen.
Today's the ending of the day of the day.
No, I-
Nobody cares, right?
Dude, like Desiree was still celebrating this. She had a
We'll go
mask
the
and
other way.
everything.
Wait. Me?
Maybe.
Oh, wow.
You gotta get your X on this side. You gotta flip it.
Look, you said that was right.
No, I said what did Allison get?
Are you
You
kidding?
said that's right.
Remember, this one's a little sneaky. So let's see. Let's see what we're gonna get.
Wait, so it's always opposite?
Not always. So on this one, numbers there yet. Oh,
That was easy.
yes, it is, Creighton. It's all you.
Oh my
You didn't sneeze there.
god! Can we like delete my voice?
All right, Treyton's got this one. Let's see if Treyton actually solve this one for us. Do all the steps. This one's a little sneakier.
I hate you, Goldie.
Yeah, I know. I'm a monster. Just a terrible human
Don't
being.
hate, appreciate.
All right, so we are going to +2 on both sides. Perfect. We're gonna +2 on both sides. There you go. All right, and we get 2 greater than or equal to x. All right.
Can't even read that, bro.
We get 2 is greater than or equal to x.
Wrong.
But before we make our number line, Trayden, is our variable on the left side?
What are you doing?
Is that x on the left?
Oh, yeah.
No.
What the
No.
heck?
X is on the right side, isn't it?
What is this?
So we gotta flip the whole thing. So like somewhere, don't erase it, just go to the left somewhere. Because we gotta flip the whole thing, right? So that means my x should be on the left side, that 2 should be on the right side.
Everybody makes it
So go like top
complicated.
left, like to the left of the 0, just put it up there.
So it's right,
Yeah.
left hand.
There you go. So we're gonna have x, and then be careful though. What, before I flipped it, what's my thing pointing to? What's that inequality pointing to? The x or the 2, before I flip?
There.
Which means when I flip it, it's still gotta point to the x. So that, flip it around, just like cross it out and dot above it. So we're gonna have x, and then we're gonna have, you didn't
Equal,
flip
God!
it. Flip it, Trey, flip
Yeah,
it.
I should probably.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's a good idea.
There we go. Alright. So we have to flip our inequalities. So it started off pointing to the x, it's gonna stay pointing to the x. Now we can graph it. If you don't flip it, your arrow's gonna go the wrong way. Okay, so where are we gonna start our graph? It's gonna be right in the middle, Trey. Perfect. Keep going.
I don't know if this is right. I might look like an idiot.
You're fine.
Too bad.
Be careful though. Are these negative numbers?
Whoa,
No.
whoa, whoa.
So what's
whoa.
one bigger than 2?
Oh.
What's bigger than 2 then? Since these aren't negatives. There you go.
1, 2, 3.
Grab a couple. Alright, so where are we gonna put our circle? Yep. Are we gonna fill it in?
Yeah.
Alright, fill it in.
What?
Uh,
I tried them, like, I realized.
See, that's why you should
or
look.
whatever. What are you doing?
I don't know.
Like, it felt like
You're supposed to
it
fill
was
in the circle.
Alright, so we gotta fill it in and that gets a seagull.
It is. No, actually, it's more of a bull.
Wait, how do you
Okay,
do
so
that?
we fill in our circle and our arrow is actually pointing left
Yeah, like how you.
because we have to use the flipped one. We gotta use our flipped answer to graph this. Alright, we're gonna do one more like this since people are still working on these. Alright, so let's do one more. One more. I'm gonna get some random numbers
No,
going.
it's 35.
No, we're doing one more.
Susie, you didn't get this problem right.
Yeah, I did.
You probably not gonna practice. Alright.
Fancy.
Alright, last in-class problem. Do it someplace you got empty space on your paper. 6 is less than or equal to x plus 2.
Take away 2.
It's kind of rhymes. 6 is less than or equal to x plus 2. Kind of.
Yeah, this one's kind of
And be careful, you always want your variable on the left side, which means you might have to flip it.
Wait, does it count on our quiz? Because I kind of just used arrows on our quiz to show that I flipped it like that.
That's fine.
Alright.
Mr. Gulks, Mr. Gulks, Mr. Gulks.
Yes.
Alright, so right here, look at this.
Yeah.
Boom. That's not pointing to the X, bro.
That's fine. Doesn't have to point to the x. The only thing we need is x to be on the left.
Boost, stop pointing
So-
at the X, bro.
So it doesn't have to be pointing at the X.
It doesn't have to point at the x.
There.
So it doesn't matter where it points. I just always want the x on the left side.
So,
Is your x on the left side?
no.
So we're gonna have to flip the whole thing.
This way.
Put this whole thing right here. Put your x on the left and your 4 on the right.
Bro, let me do this one.
Bro.
Before we flipped it, what did it point to? Okay, so when I flip it, it's still got to point to the 4. So this is going to flip directions. It's going to go this way.
This way?
This thing right here. It's going to flip directions. So right now it's pointing to the 4, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's still got to point to the 4.
Oh yeah.
Alright, let's pick somebody random to do this on the board for us. See Keith, maybe you'll get lucky. Eeny, meeny, miny, I choose you, or I'm not doing trading again because you just did it. Oh, it is you, Keith.
No.
Brooke? Yeah. Well, I got desk number 1, but nobody's there, so I took you. Alright, Keith's gonna do this one on the board for us. Just get the pencil. Pen tool. There you go. Alright. He's gonna do this on the board for us and show all your steps because this one's a little sneaky. Alright, a little sneaky. A little sneak. Alright, what's the first step?
Alright, so you go. Oh, I gotta find one minus 2.
There you go.
Ooh. And then minus 2.
Yeah. Keep it going.
And then you go down here and you got 4.
Uh-huh.
Wait.
And this.
Yeah.
Then you put the X.
Mm-hmm.
That is important.
That is. That is important.
But hold on, I'm just gonna go over here real quick.
That's fine.
Then you go X.
Mhm.
Put the line under it. 4 again.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come down here to your little number graph.
Yep.
Boom.
Perfect.
Boom. And boom. And you put your 4 in the middle. Oh, that's horrible.
It's okay.
Put your 5 right here.
Yep. That's one bigger.
And you put your smaller one down there.
Perfect.
That's a 3. And then since you got this thing right here, the line under it,
Yep.
you make the circle. Not only do you make the circle, you fill it in. Make sure you fill it all the way in.
Just got the extra line. Except that extra line.
Oh, I didn't see that last time.
All right. That's good enough, Keith. It doesn't have to be
Way to
perfect.
explain it, Keith.
And then you look at your arrow and see that's pointing that way.
Pointing off beyond stuff.
And I did it right.
She
so
draws quite an arrow.
I thought I drew it. Did I
It's
draw?
hard
That's good,
beyond
Keith. That's some good explaining.
One's imagination.
Explaining.
What?
What? Is he drooling?
Oh no.
I want to get that looked at, man.
Alright.
All right. Nice job, Keith. That was really nice. Real nice.
What is happening there?
Okay. So
Is he spitting?
I think I want you guys to do the exit ticket now. I know I know some of you guys are still working on the flip part. So if you get to a flip one, ask me and I'll help you out with it. I'll help you kind of individually give you a few examples. And then we're gonna get started on our homework. So do this exit ticket here. I will put your homework on Google Classroom, and I think I might change those homework numbers around. So make sure you look on the board before you start doing homework. So get started on your exit ticket, and I'll tell you when homework's up.